Hi, my name is Mark Taylor. First of all, I want to thank you for considering renting this beautiful bike. It's a 2022 BMW K1600 GTL in the 719 Mineral White Edition. So the purpose of this video is to show you the really cool features, the improvements from my prior 2019, so that should you decide to rent from me, you'll understand some of the nuances of the motorcycle so that your trip is absolutely perfect. First and foremost, as we walk around the motorcycle, there are some additional add-ons from stock, such as the highway pegs here, the crash protectors on the front. The bike has been completely ceramic coated. We've added protection here for the panniers so that when your significant other gets off the back, they don't have to worry about scuffing the paint. When you want to engage the motorcycle to start it or unlock any of the central locking on any of the bags, the first thing you need to do is have the key in your hand. It's very much like a BMW vehicle key. It has a pop-out key that is used to open up the accessory pockets, which to be honest are pretty useless. They don't really hold very much. But as long as you have the key in your possession, and please don't lose it, they only give you one, and it's frightfully expensive to replace everything. You're just simply going to push the start button here, and your TFT screen is going to pop up. And now you know your bike is engaged. The instrument cluster is absolutely gorgeous. You're going to see your neutral sign, your revs here, and I'll go through some of the menu settings and modes in a moment. But basically, this is the initial step to starting the bike. There is a central locking button here, which I highly encourage you to use even when riding. It stops the rear passenger from accidentally popping open the panniers. But the very first thing we often get asked is, I understand the bike now attaches to cell phones and that you can actually put cell phones into the vehicle and use them much more than previous editions. So they like to call it BMW the super secret button. So once you unlock, you push, the screen is going to rise out of the way, and you're going to lift this panel up, and inside there's an interior pocket that you push, and this flap allows you to put the phone in. Now, I will tell you that if you're an Android user, let me know. There is an additional cable that I put in. As I'm an avid Apple guy, there's an Apple cable tucked in here that attaches to your iPhone. One thing I will tell you, they really haven't perfected the BMW application that has to be running when this is in place. It has a very similar look and feel to Apple CarPlay. It does not support Apple CarPlay. And quite frankly, this is about the only disappointment that I have with BMW is the application, because once you have your trip uploaded, everything runs through the instrumentation cluster, but it consistently fails. They are working on an update. So to make life simple and the most enjoyable part of the ride is I would recommend, as most people have Bluetooth helmets these days, simply connect your phone to your helmet, run your music through that, run your navigation through that, and try not to rely too much on this. You will get frustrated until they fix the issues. But again, it's up to you. But for simple charging, you can put your phone in here, charge it. Let me know in the rental application, and I'll give you the Google cable. And what makes this particularly nice is they have a fan in here to keep the phone from overheating. So opening the gas cap when you're with your buddies and you just want to roll up to the gas pump and start pumping right away, you have to turn off the motorcycle, and then this will engage. If the motorcycle is on, you won't be able to open the gas cap. To close it, that's how you do it. Fire the bike back up. Ready to rock and roll. Again, this is why I reference using your cell phone to communicate to your helmet, because now everything has to reestablish, and it doesn't always reestablish all connections naturally. If we want to go through the screen here, what's really clever about the information panel is that everything you could want to know about the motorcycle is easily visualized. For those of you who may not have ridden a motorcycle like this, these are your jog dials and wheels, and this menu button right here is what initiates everything to get into the menu. So you simply tap forward to scroll through the different functions and features that are available. If it's cold, as it sometimes can be in Arizona, simply getting to the settings menu, tapping the menu button will open up all the other system settings. So simply for heating, again, select the heating function, push forward on the jog dial, it'll open up and you can set the temperature for the heated handlebar grips. Scroll down by using the jog dial, go in, push forward, and then you can elect to have the temperature on the handlebar grips. So as far as heating your seats and keeping your partner warm and toasty, simply initiating the button will activate which seat you want. It will actually show up on the screen. But in order for the temperature to work, you must go back into the seat heating and scroll to the temperature. I will warn you that after about 15 minutes, 4 is pretty much hot enough to roast the crown jewels. To get back out of this, you simply pull back on the jog dial, tapping back, and then you choose the other functions that you want. Now the My Vehicles function is really cool. Again, initiating the menu button, and it'll tell you everything that's going on. It'll tell you your front and rear tires. It'll actually tell you if they're plus or minus specs, how much air needs to go in each tire. It'll give you warnings on every single thing that you could imagine. For example, there's your onboard computer, your range, the time, the engine time, just a plethora of data that you can figure out. Here's the specs of the tires, and because the bike is parked and hasn't been riding very long, there's no information for it to collect. And it'll tell you when the next service is due. Pushing the menu button, jog dial, and then the menu button will get you where you need to go. By pushing the up portion of the menu button, you'll see that you can scroll through the total mileage, the trip, the fuel that you've been getting during that trip, and any of these trip buttons that have a number on them, you can just hold the menu button down and it will reset. Pushing the menu button up gets you to your preferred information that you want without changing the main cluster of the instrument panel. And for me, I just like to know how much fuel I have left. With 2 people on this bike, riding aggressively and having some fun, you're going to get about 198 miles to the tank. When I'm riding on my own, I get about 230. So it's just interesting to know to keep that in mind when you are tooling around. Up here on the instrument cluster, you'll also notice that it's in dynamic. One of the big changes in this edition is that you no longer need to tell the bike what is loaded on the motorcycle, how many passengers are on the motorcycle. If you've got a passenger or no passenger, it automatically knows the weight and adjusts the suspension on the fly for you. But by pushing the mode button over here, by the start and stop, you can actually change the modes so it will soften or harden the suspension for comfort, for safety, or just to have a thrill. One of the things I'd like to say about this bike, when you first pick it up, it can be a little intimidating, a little confusing with all these buttons, knobs, twizzle things, dials. I would highly recommend that when you pick it up, just enjoy the bike, get used to the clutch pattern, the acceleration pattern, and don't really worry about these. You can pull down the manual online anytime, maybe do that over a cup of coffee, but I'm going to go through them so that you understand what does what. This up here is your cruise control. If you push the set and resume button, it won't work until it is moved all the way over. And now you see the set and resume. So you set your speed, let go. If it does not have adaptive cruise control, So if you brake and want to get back to the speed you're at, you just pull this back. So that's how the cruise control works. Obviously your hazards are here. Your screen button is memory allocated. What I mean by that is wherever you set your screen when you start to ride, the screen will go back to that prior setting. This screen, by the way, is not stock. I put a wider screen on it so there's more comfort, because when we were coming down the I-40, the stock screen just didn't afford enough protection for my wife and I. Here's your menu button we've talked about. Here's the jog dial. It scrolls up and down. Here are your indicators, left and right, and of course the horn, which is wonderful. It's nice and loud. These are the bottom lights that I have on all the time when I'm driving because I want people to see me. I'm always amazed on a bike this big and a guy my size, nobody ever seems to see me, so I put as many lights on as possible. This button here is your reverse button. It causes a lot of confusion because it goes against everything we were taught. And what I'd like to show you is when I push this button, your instrument panel will change from N, neutral, it has to be in neutral, it goes to R. And in order to engage reverse, when the bike is running, you actually hold the stop button down, the power button, and keep it held, and the bike will back up. So you don't have to worry about parking it rear-wise at a bar or at a restaurant, on a camber. You can park however naturally you feel, and then you can always back up out of the way. I use it all the time. It's a wonderful addition to riding a motorcycle. Over here again is your mode button, and over here is your central locking button, which can be activated if the bike's on or off at any given time. It also pairs up to the key. On both sides of the motorcycle there's a nice feature which I really appreciate in Arizona summers. This pulled out allows more airflow to get to the driver. Also with the motorcycles, a lot of BMWs have this fitting, and this is where you can plug in your heated suit if you have one, or your cooling jacket. For me right now, I just simply have the accessory port to charge my wife's phone. She runs a cable up here and keeps it in her pocket for her music and her headset. So just little extras that you get to see. One of the things I'd like to highlight about the pannier bags is a way to ensure that nothing falls out on you. And what I would suggest to do is you come up to the bag, just put your knee there, push the button, this lever comes up, and then these come down. And the reason why I'd put the knee there all the time is if you don't have these straps in, things can fall out. Kind of think of like an airplane, you know, bags may have moved in flight. Anyway, but this automatic retention system tends to break. It's a known problem, I guess, from my service guy. The BMW are trying to fix it, but if it breaks, don't worry, it's always under warranty. This will fit a helmet in here, and we've included the bags that actually fit, so you can just carry this into your hotel room, and you just lock that on there like that, close the bag up, push that down. If you want to disengage the bag, putting the key in here, turning it, this handle will come up, you'll grab it, and it will pull right off the motorcycle. As far as the back of the motorcycle goes, what's included in the kit with me is all of your registration, insurance, and little accessories and doodads are included up here. We include, should you need to jump, the battery, it's in here, and a tire repair kit is also included with your trip so that you're covered for anything really. Should you be so inclined, there are custom buttons that you can set up in the settings menu. Right now 3 will turn the menu to this, so when I'm driving along I can get out of all the menus if I've gotten confused or lost, and I simply push the third button. As far as the windshield goes, it's important to note that we've included a GoPro mount for you. And a real hot tip after those long riding days where you've got bug guts all over everything, a wonderful tip for you is to get a towel, get it in the shower, sink, get it really hot with hot water, wring it out, come out here and leave it on here for 5 to 10 minutes and just simply pull it off and all the bug guts will be gone. You'll be amazed if you didn't know that trick. And then the soft cloth in the back is there just to wipe it down and dry it down so you don't get any water spots. As you know, on this edition, the headlights have been improved, which means they shoot further, they're brighter, and they bank and turn so that you can't outrun your headlights when you're cornering at night. It's a really nice feature. And especially with the bottom lights on as well, I can't tell you how fast I've gone, but I've had no problem getting around turns and I have not been able to outrun my headlights. So just a nice feature on the motorcycle to be aware of. So I hope this little video has helped you understand the nuances of the new motorcycle for the 2022 year and given you some confidence in being able to rent it and get on it right away. If you're considering buying a K-Series bike, this is the best and only way to really figure it out. If you've never ridden a big bike like this, you'll be amazed. Yes, it's a heavy bike. Yes, it's 900 pounds. But once you're doing 10 miles an hour, it really does feel like a 250. It's got incredible acceleration. It has a whole bunch of life to it. It really does have a soul. And my wife and I just have permagrin every time we ride it because we're in so much comfort and we're just zipping by with the landscape flying by us. So any further questions, just hit me up. But we'll look forward to hopefully seeing you come and ride the Grand Canyon with us.